Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of TIS Hitters. TIS Hitters 19. We are cruising through these. We have had a little bit of a break. My name's Kurt Conley, back here again with Mr. Rev Nissen. How are you, Rev?
Yeah, doing good, Kurt. Doing all right. Had my birthday on the 8th, and we got spoiled by pretty much everyone, including people within the Cryptofy community. As you can see, this amazing canvas here. It looks pretty cool. It's got the moon there and everything.
Floating there, you could put your hands around the moon there, and you could hold it.
Wait.
There you go.
I can't get it, but I will get it right. I promise.
You
For
might
the
want to
next one.
practice that for the next one, right?
Yeah. I'll work out how to do it and then go from there. How you been, Kurt? You been all right?
Yeah, I've been really good. Had a bit of a busy weekend. Wasn't feeling the best, but yeah, all back into it now. Today's Monday. I love Mondays. I love getting these videos out for the community. For those that aren't subscribed to TIS Hitters, there's a lot going on with new platforms. There's registration links flying around, but the majority of the community knows how TIS Hitters works. We do this Monday and Friday. Usually, we've obviously gone through a bit of a period with Christmas, but yeah, every Monday and Friday we come on here, scan through a bunch of trades that our TIS trading system pushes out to our Discord members, and we assess them and we try and find a few gems for you guys and what we're doing. So let's just jump straight into episode 19, Rev.
For sure. Let's do it.
As always, the content that's covered in these videos and our channels, our Discord, our Facebook are not to be considered investment advice. We're not financial advisors. These are just our own opinions and the speculation on what we think is happening in the market. All those members that are already signed up to TIS, you guys know the deal. For any new members, please check out everything before you are joining up. Let's go. So last week, we talked about a couple of trades, and these two were DOC and OMG. This is the recap of the weekly TIS hits. So for OMG, the entry was 61 sats. The current sat value is 59 sats. So the current change between when we talked about it is about 3.28% in the negative. However, the trade did go to 69 sats, so there was a potential gain there of 13.1%. So not a bad one, considering what was going on with Bitcoin at the time as well.
That's the
We did
thing,
say
yeah.
that. Right, we did say that when we were looking at potential trades, like how hard it was to find something with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was still being radical around these times as well, right?
Yeah, because everything's so sporadic and it's just random in these times when BTC's pushing new highs consistently almost every single day. It was knocking a new high out. It's very, very hard to catch anything, and you just have random ones kicking in out of left, right, and center, and you're never going to catch them. Don't chase them.
Yep. It was crazy. OMG was another one, was 10,640 sats. Current sat value is around that 9,100 sat range. Has completely dropped off, minus 14% right now. But it did go to that 11,840 sat range, which was around that 11%. We were talking around a 13K breakout, so we were looking at that 13,000 sat range. It didn't actually get there, so that's where it is with the current trade.
Yeah.
Now, that is what's happened. That was the last couple of trades, but we have to take some time out and appreciate what the king Bitcoin has done recently. It's been astronomical, just trailblazing through the whole crypto space, just all-time high after all-time high. I think people are actually getting sick of saying Bitcoin another all-time high. It was just crazy. But yeah, after forming a short-term top around that 42,000 USD, I think it was like 55,000 Australian, right, Rev?
Yeah, just about that. Yeah, it was even between 53 and 57,000 Australian, which is ridiculous. Like
It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to it because of the Australian dollar is not as strong as the American versus the American. So, it's mind blowing.
Good to see. Good to see. I have a lot of messages on my phone of people, as everyone else does. Is now a good time, to get into Bitcoin. But anyway, that's a completely different story. So we did see Bitcoin start its downside correction around that 38,000 support levels. And then today we've obviously seen Bitcoin fall off, and it has bounced off that 61 fib level, right? So there's a couple of things that we want to talk about here before we jump straight into TIS hitters. I'm going to get Rev to pull up the chart that we've had floating around since the 1st of January 2020.
Yep.
But one thing that Rev and I wanted to just talk about as well was in 2017, 2018, it used to be completely face melting if you'd see Bitcoin rip $1,000 a day, $500 a day. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Then we started getting to 2019, 2020, where 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 was like, okay, we're seeing this quite often. Now we're seeing $3,000 days and even $5,000 days. I mean, what was the monthly candle? It just printed $14,000 monthly candle.
Yeah, last month was a 12,000 sort of range from high to bottom, high to low, and this month's been for about 14,000 from high to low so far. So, and it's
Completely unheard of.
we've spoken about this many times, Kurt. We always look for, if it's at 10,000, look for $1,000 swing because that's 10% of the price. It can happen in a day. More can happen, but generally that's the sort of range. 20,000, now 30, then 40,000. It's like, well, a $4,000 move now at 10%, you're good. It's just that roller coaster with that. That the GIF with Mr. Bean on a roller coaster. I posted it in the Discord. It's just like, yeah, I'm falling asleep and everyone else is yelling, and it's just this roller coaster, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Because 2017, that push really conditioned people to understand. Okay, we know now $1,000 swing on a daily. It's just going to be normal. And then we've tried to condition people to feel and get their feels and to understand that once we get to 20,000, a $2,000 swing is normal. Once we get to 30, a $3,000, don't panic. I know it's a lot of money because it just is. There's no other asset that moves the way the crypto or Bitcoin as an asset moves. And that's why it's a volatile asset, and that's why we say, manage your risk because it's already a risky asset. It's already volatile, so just be careful with it. But I mean, we've done our best to really give you guys a sort of understanding of how to, deal with your emotions. We've seen that sort of stuff. Whether it's you're in a good trade, let's say you were long and it went to 42,000, and you're like, and then now it's at 36,000. Now you're feeling like, not so great. You need to be able to have those emotions in check for sure.
You probably have some things in place, but yeah, we won't go into that if that's what we're doing. But what we want to say is, the $1,000 swings, we don't really even look at them anymore. It's like, okay, yes, it's moved, whatever. I mean, I'm not checking Bitcoin that often anyway, but we are going to get into a period where, $10,000 days are coming, and we said that back in early January, February 2020. People were like, are you mad?
Yeah.
But now we're here. We're seeing $4,000, $5,000 moves on Bitcoin. So it will get there over 100, over 150, 200 range. You're going to see this sort of stuff happening. And then Rev and I have talked about that when the big institutions start, coming in, when we get to these $2 trillion market caps, there's just who knows what you're going to see. So I think it's good times of seeing Bitcoin and what it's doing at the moment. I think it obviously needs to chill and have a bit of a break. I mean, I'm praying it just it chills out for a bit.
For sure, same here. And I think majority of people are on the same, wavelength as well as us because, sure, we love seeing Bitcoin do its thing and achieving new all-time highs. But if only it could take everything else with it, from a stat perspective, that would be awesome. Instead of rather, destroy them from a stat perspective. It's just, I think a lot of majority, or at least maybe 70 to 80% of people are, pretty big on alts because we all seen what 2017 did. If we are really at the point of the, early January, February, March 2017, if we're going to have another next cycle like that, I can see many people creating generational wealth for their families, if we have another year like that. So I look forward to it.
And we've been big advocates for these sorts of times coming to where we think could be heading into. So, all is good. All is good in the space. Congratulations, Bitcoin, for making just all-time high after all-time high. Super good to see. But I could do with you chilling out so I can just get some normality back to my life.
And just be wary that there can be a bigger drop. I was looking at the chart last night, and that's when I looked at XMR. I think it was about 3:00 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. I woke up and just looked on my phone, and I looked at XMR, and I also looked at Bitcoin, and I'm like, it does look like we need to go down to the 32,000, 33,000 range. And funnily enough, I wake up and I look at my phone and it's like 33,005, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, just mind-blowing. Like, if I wasn't half asleep, I might have taken a trade. But I didn't. I was just like, whatever, I'm going back to sleep. But,
I'm sick of waking up and checking it, to be honest. I'm like, I just can't be bothered with it. It's probably an all-time high again. I just can't be bothered with it. So, yeah. But, Red,
Yeah.
This is a chart that we have talked about consistently in Discord, Facebook, across our channels. A lot of people have asked us questions about it. I've had people sit in this office. I've shown people this chart. And I think it's good that we just recap and go back to this chart, because I have had people say, oh, it said that we were going to go to 26 and then have this big pullback and stuff. But we did have a pullback and a decent drop from that high. So let's just recap this chart to bring everyone back up to speed, because where we're going next is we're in this last phase here. We're sitting in this last box sort of direction angle here. So let's recap it.
Yeah, for sure. So we drew this in this section here. I hope you can see my cursor. We drew it within this section here. Now no one anticipated, this is 2020, right? At the start of 2020, no one anticipated COVID. No one anticipated the whole world losing its mind. And we had a drop down to, where is it? We dropped down to 3.2. Once again, the target that we spoke about in my last hand-drawn chart. So, we dropped down to 3.2 there and we picked back up. I think we would have been much further away. Now, the first push, we were looking in between about that 19.5, which is this range here, to sit in this box here. 19.5 to 26.5 is our real target here. Now, we got that. We got to 19.8, the last high. We pushed it a little bit, and then we pulled back down to 16. The next range we really wanted to see was about 14.5, but we didn't get there. We got to about 16, and then it started to pick back up momentum once again, and then this one cleared here once we broke that high and took off. So once we did take off from there, we're expecting a quite high number up here. It's about 88,000, give or take 10%, which I know is a big price difference, but we just said in a day you could be moving 10% of price movement. So let's say it's at 8,000, it can wick out to 88,000 in a day. It can go down to 72,000, or it may never reach there. So the real ranges here are about 72,000 to 88,000, and then I truly believe if we get above that 90 and push that 100, you'll see major fireworks, or we may have a correction from there, but I haven't looked any further. And we haven't really analyzed any more data rather than that, but we are definitely in this last phase here, and you can see we're pretty much halfway to that target, right? This is 80,000. We got to 42, so we're just above halfway of that target as we speak right now. We're about here somewhere right now. So and we did say 6 to 24 months. The COVID really didn't help. I think we would probably be, closer to that, or we would be able to validate or invalidate this actual chart. But because what's left really, another 11 months and a half for this to really have played out. So we're about 13 months into it, not even 12 months and a week, or a week and a bit. And now, we just want to see what it does from here. But after that, there's no way that you're going to really be able to know. The only thing that we can really say is that we're going to continue to see these crazy swings up and down for sure.
I think $100,000 Bitcoin. I mean, people have been talking about it for 3 years. We're not saying we're calling it at 100,000. So many people have talked about 100,000, but I think the global coverage Bitcoin will get when it gets over that 100,000 is such a significant number for people to digest. I just think it'll just be everywhere. Every single person will be talking about it, and the news outlets, the media just go stupid. So who knows what will happen from there, but that's what we're looking at. That's our chart that we're following. And Bitcoin's at 42,000, or it was at 42,000. So we feel like it's on its way.
Yeah, for sure.
It's at 80,000 range.
Yeah, it's at 35 at the moment. And you can see how quickly it moved from there, from 42 to 35. And a lot of people will freak out here, Kurt. I guarantee you, a lot of people will freak out here. Someone would have got in at the top, and they're freaking out, and they're like, oh. And this is what happens. We have an imbalance of buy pressure versus sell pressure, right? You have these people jumping at the top, and the price starts to fall, and it goes against them. And what happens is their emotions kick in, and they go, oh, man, when is this going to end? And then it's just a compound of selling pressure, and that's why we go so low. But then when we bounce back up so much harder, and quicker, because there's that sell pressure's gone. It's all exhausted itself, and now the books are really thin. It's really easy to go back up because people start to FOMO then. And someone could have gotten out, let's say at 38, and they're like, oh, I'm the greatest trader in the world, and it's at 35. And then the moment it goes back to 38, oh no, maybe I should get back in, and that causes buy pressure imbalances, and then the sell pressure's out of the window, and buy pressure pushes it back up. So it's really a mental mind game at the end of the day. It really is. I don't know how much more. It is a game. Trading is a game.
And now imagine that with some altcoins as well, right? Like you just like now it's compounded because think of the volume and the money that's circulating on a Bitcoin, on a trading volume. Now use that same theory on an altcoin. That's when you can see some real massive falls and massive run-ups on altcoins as well. So yeah, just keep those things in mind when you are trading and considering of selling and buying, and when you're entering and exiting a trade.
100%, definitely. And we'll be covering a bit of this stuff as well on the training modules. You know, we expected to get them out a bit earlier, but I think if we dedicate a bit more time to them and really get them so that people can take as much value from it as possible, it's the best way to go. Like, I can knock out a training module in a week, but I'd rather do it in you know, with having as much information in the best possible, you know, way to have it out there for people.
Sure. We've also been prioritizing some stuff. I know a lot of people are looking for like PayPal and crypto payments, and we're pretty much on the cusp of that. So we've sort of like pushed that to try and get that stuff out first. So yeah, lots of things coming with the trading course and the platform, and you know, we're working super hard for all of the community and the members. So don't think that we're just sitting here trading, because I'm actually doing the least amount of trading I've done. Honestly, I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is.
I'm pretty much there with you. I've just been looking at a few things, and that's about it.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into TIS hits, because we have dragged this on already and we've got to get these out. So the first one that we're looking at today is, guess what? It's XMR again. So we have talked about this a few times now. So we're back here with XMR. 16th, it's ranked on the CMC. Current dollar value is $157. Sat value is 440,000 sats. XMR has pushed through that last resistance, and now it's coming back down to test and flip to support. So we've talked about it a couple of times now. We're here looking at it again. It's an interesting trade that keeps popping up in our minds. It's 13 buy notifications. The current Bitcoin value trading volume is around 1,355. We're giving it a 6 out of 10, and we're going to reiterate delisting on some exchanges, or a lot of exchanges. However, the setup looks good. So let's pull up a chart and have a look, Rev.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the reason for the 6 out of 10 it has got to do a lot with the fact that, you know, the delisting sort of news and stuff, and we saw it break through, you know, a year-long plus support, which we also covered in the last TIS hitters. So let's bring up the chart really quickly, and the reason why it's not like a 5 is because it's actually pushed out, and it's a perfect, you know, flip resistance to support attempt. It really is. And we anticipate price action in those points. We really do, because people are looking to enter or exit or take profit, whatever it may be at these points. So you can see here right now on the hourly, and this is what I spoke about in Discord last night when I woke up in the middle of the night. It pushed out, I looked back down, and it's pushed out here, come back down, and then this is the point where it started to push and really push out, right? And you can see it pushed right out there. It actually did what I expected it to do, come back down. It's actually gone a bit further on that wick there, but it's in that range. Realistically, where you want to see it stop is at about these two tweezer tops right here, right there, right? But we didn't get to stop there, but we are currently there right now. So the next sort of few hours, or even the next daily hourly candles, that, you know, 24 hourly candles, are really going to speak a lot and give us a big indication as to where this is going. So just to cover that again, this was our resistance in here. You can see we failed to go for it again. We've come back down, we've gone to push it, we've pushed out, and now we've come back down to test that resistance to flip it to support. So now we want to see it hold itself here and then push right out again. This really isn't much of a resistance anymore, because this was just a little bit of price action blow off top and then come back down. So there's not really much resistance in this section. If anyone got in this area, they're not worried about, you know, oh, I'm going to break even over here. They're really looking for the setup to push out. So just keep your eyes on that, but keep your eyes on the MACD as well here. You know, it's coming back down on the hourly. It might just be a bit of consolidation. MACD can just, you know, chill out and sort of sort of plateau and go neutral. Let's look at the 4 hourly. And 4 hourly on 100-day MA right there, you can see it. Just smack it, come back down. It's perfect TA. It really is. And this is why TA gives you an edge in the market. Because you're not just throwing a dart at nothing. And that's what makes the difference. And some people go, oh, TA, it doesn't really work. Well, it kind of does. You can see that 100-day MA right there. And the reason why we use 100-day rather than a 200 MA is because it's an altcoin at the end of the day. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'd rather use a 200 for sure. It's more 200 and 100. But on an altcoin, there really isn't as much volume. So keep your eyes out on the smaller MAs for sure. So you can see it pushed up right there, double tweeze at top, coming back down. Hopefully now this one just goes, even if it stops here and the next candle opens and starts pushing out, it'll be a nice trade. It'll be a really nice trade. The next sort of point to look for, a move or a sort of a resistance, is exactly where I am right now. Let me put a line there and I'll show you exactly why. I'm on the 4 hourly. I don't know if it will show it. It pretty much shows us where. Is that I put it in the right section? Yeah, I did. Okay, so it was once it broke its support. This is the support range. So I'll throw another line in there. And we can see a confirmation down. This is where it tried to reverse itself, but then really get hit hard, right? So in this point, expect price action to really occur here. Now, if we do go back out, we might cop resistance here, and it look for a drop back down to this range, which then becomes support. So, and that's where you get the, ascending triangle pattern. A lot of people pick that up, but essentially the core of that ascending triangle is in this, what's happening back down here. So these 2 points are definitely important, which is at 540,000 sats, and then the 640,000 sat range is very, very, very critical, because that is the long-term support, as you can see right there. Might be a little bit lower. You can probably utilize it there at, let's say, 610,000 sats. These are points to really be watching out for in this particular trade. And I know about all the delisting stuff and all that. That's the only thing that we can really slow this thing down. Let's look at the daily if you can see anything. Nothing really. There's nothing really for me there in that. But yeah, only the fact that we've had a swing low here, a pivot low on the daily, and then we've bounced back off it. That's pretty much all I can see. But yeah, that's all on X market.
See how she goes this time, hey?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so here's an old favorite of ours as well. Tis has always pinged this one. So this is Carver. We did talk about Carver early days in 2020. Currently it's sitting at $144.63 USD value, 4,577 sats. So we're looking at the past support at 5,000 sat range. There is currently some resistance there on the daily, and we're looking to break out above that now. So if it touches that 100-day MA, which is what Rev was just talking about before. So let's pull up a chart. Currently 24-hour 40 Bitcoin trading volume. It has had 10x buy notifications.
Yeah.
So these are constantly coming through. So I also want to reiterate for some of the new members that haven't really used TIS and are looking at TIS just for the first time. When these buy notifications come through like this is sort of like a dollar cost average notification. That's the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
It's not buy. Every single one of them is a buy signal. It's when you're getting this like a big flood of notifications in, we treat it as a DCA sort of notification. The rating on this is 7 out of 10. We do have a good track record with Carver.
For sure.
So let's have a look at the chart.
Yeah, let's bring it up. So just looking at the data here, that was at 3.3. Thank God it wasn't there when I brought it up. Bias percentage. The data doesn't look too good. There's nothing special about it. Let's just be straight up with it, right? Price change, volume change, nothing great, nothing really special at all. But when we look at the chart, and the reason why we're looking at this trade here is if we look at historic data on it, let's go back to the 4 hourly. Actually, let's look at the daily. We're going to get a better picture on the daily, to be honest. And there it is. You can see that red dotted line there. Oh, too far. It's underneath this range here, which is at 5,000 sats. Now, currently, it's at 4,621. And what we're looking for, if we look at that MA right there, I believe that's the monthly or the 25-day MA, it's at 5.1. If we attempt a breakout there, we could be looking at the 100-day MA not far off at all. And all it needs is a bit of volume, a bit of price action, and a push out. Because at 5,000 is a pretty strong point there for Carver. I remember last time it was there, you could see last time it was there, it went to 44,000 sats, 46 even, it wicked out too, but I think the bodies were, there we go, 43, 42. But you can see what happened after that, and this is throughout a year, this is a daily candle. So yeah, realistically, what we want to see is a push out to 5,000, and then evaluate the price action there. What is actually happening there? Are we going to push out and then test that 5,000 again, or are we just going to continue to go? There's really nothing much else on it. On the daily, just keep your eyes on this MACD, I guess. If we do go up above the zero line, it would be really nice to see what would happen. And I think if we do that, we'll be above 5,000 and broken that resistance and maybe test that 5,000 once again and then push out to that 100-day MA line right there, that yellow line, exactly where the cursor is, which is at 10,000 sats, which is 100% plus on sat value. I mean, I'll take that any day. Just saying. But yeah, and you can see what happened last time. It pushed the zero line and then continued to push. Pushed out, come back down, consolidated a little bit, and then really pushed for itself. And here's a little bit here that rejected, didn't come back down to it. I'm just trying to see an example of what to expect here, or what we could possibly expect from historical data. Bounce back down, push out, bounce back. That didn't really meet anything there. That just met the bodies up here on this week, but that's about it. No, there's nothing really to give an example of what to expect in here. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what that chart does, to be honest. But that's pretty much all we got on Carver for sure.
So yeah, that is our 2 TIS hitters for Monday, episode 19. We are done. We thank you for joining us on this kickstart for the Monday. We look forward to being back here on Friday with you. Lots of action happening in Discord. We're going to make some more announcements soon on some of the other stuff that's going on. And hopefully we get some new payment systems set up for all the people that are sending me DMs. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back to your messages. There's like so many of them, it's ridiculous. But I do my best. Rev does his best. We all do our best to try and respond to all your messages. I know people have a lot of questions. Please check out the registered channel in Discord. There's more than enough information in there to get you guys started if you need to. And we will be back here on Friday to do the next TIS hitters, which is episode 20. Can't believe we're at 20 already.
For sure. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Kurt.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Guys.
See you guys later. Bye.
Cheers, bye.